I've always hated doctor visits, but moving to a new city forced me to schedule a general checkup at a clinic I'd never been to. From the moment I stepped inside, something felt wrong. The receptionist barely looked up at me and seemed distracted by something behind me, handing me a clipboard with shaking hands. I filled out everything normally, sat down, and tried to scroll through my phone, but it kept losing signal, flickering between no service and an empty bar, even though I'd had full reception outside. When the nurse called my name, her voice echoed strangely through the hallway, and she walked ahead without looking back to see if I was following. She placed me in a small examination room, where the only sound was a flickering fluorescent light buzzing overhead. After about 10 minutes, the doctor walked in. Dr. Harper. He had a perfectly neat white coat, slicked back hair, and eyes that didn't blink enough. At first, the appointment seemed normal, until he asked questions that made the blood drain from my face. "You've had headaches for exactly 3 months, correct?" he asked casually. I hadn't written that on the forms. "And the shortness of breath, the one that hits every Wednesday at exactly 11:07 p.m., he continued, not even looking at my chart. I stared at him, stunned. I never told anyone that. Before I could speak, he leaned forward and said quietly, "And that dream you've been having, the one where someone stands at the foot of your bed watching you, that started about 2 weeks after you moved in, didn't it?" My mouth went dry. I hadn't told anyone. He watched my reaction with a soft smile, then stood up and opened a cabinet in the corner of the room. Inside were dozens of neatly labeled folders, and he pulled one out, my name printed in perfect handwriting. When he opened it, my stomach dropped. Inside were photos of me sleeping, brushing my teeth, driving, even sitting alone in my living room. Notes written beside each image. 2:41 a.m. Mild restlessness. 4:02 p.m. Observed leaving apartment. 11:07 p.m. Breath irregular again. I whispered, "How did you get these?" And he simply said, "I've been watching you for a long time. I take care of my patients before they ever walk in." I panicked, pushing past him toward the door. He didn't try to stop me, only said, "You can go for now. I'll see you again soon." I ran into the parking lot, shaking. When I looked back, the clinic windows were suddenly dark, like no one had been inside at all. I tried to move on with life, but small signs kept appearing. Envelopes outside my door with his handwriting, my bedroom window unlatched in the morning, footsteps in the hallway at 3 a.m. And once, I swear I saw a white coat disappearing around the corner in my apartment building. Sometimes I wake in the night to the sound of a pen scribbling on paper, even though I live alone. And no matter where I move, I occasionally find a new photo slipped under my door with a single line of handwriting. Still monitoring, still watching. I had booked a routine checkup at a clinic near my workplace. Nothing special, but from the moment I walked in, the atmosphere felt tense. The waiting room was full, yet nobody spoke. Everyone stared at the floor like something terrible was about to happen. When the nurse called my name, I followed her deep into the building. She placed me in an exam room and closed the door. And that's when I heard it. A voice in the room next door. A man was practically sobbing, begging, "Please, let me go. I won't tell anyone. Please." His voice was filled with genuine fear, and I froze. Then I heard a doctor's voice, calm and almost soothing, say, "No, we're not done with you. You're not ready to leave yet." The hair on the back of my neck stood up. I pressed my ear to the wall, heart pounding. The sounds became clearer. The man's breathing was frantic, the doctor's footsteps slow and deliberate. Suddenly, the begging stopped, replaced by a soft whimpering. Then silence. When my doctor, Dr. Collins, finally came into my room, his smile seemed too perfect, too rehearsed. He examined me casually, asked normal questions, but I couldn't stop thinking about the voice next door. I tried to mention it, but he cut me off abruptly and said, "We don't have anyone in that room today." His tone made my stomach drop. After my appointment, I pretended to leave but circled back and peeked into the room across the hall. It was completely empty. No equipment, no chair, nothing. The lights were off, and the room looked like it hadn't been used in years. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing the man's voice echoing in my head. Weeks later, I bumped into a former patient of that clinic at a grocery store. She recognized me and asked if I had ever heard anything. She said she had heard voices too, pleading, crying, begging. And when she tried to ask the staff, they told her the same thing. No one's in that room. Her voice shook as she whispered, "Some people say that room belonged to a patient who disappeared years ago." After she left, I tried to convince myself it was just stress, imagination, anything to avoid thinking about what I had heard. But every time I close my eyes, I can hear that man pleading again. And worse, I can hear the doctor's calm voice saying, "You're not leaving yet." And sometimes, late at night, when my apartment is quiet, I swear I hear a faint tapping on my wall, like someone on the other side trying to get my attention. I originally visited Dr. Lewis because I'd been feeling dizzy for weeks, and my friends insisted I get checked out. His clinic was quiet, almost unnaturally quiet, and even though the staff smiled politely, they all looked exhausted, like they hadn't slept in days. During my first appointment, Dr. Lewis seemed perfectly normal, gentle tone, patient explanations, and he ordered a few tests. A week later, he called me personally, asking me to come in because he didn't want to discuss the results over the phone. The way he said it made my stomach twist. When I arrived, the clinic was eerily empty. Not a single patient in the waiting room. He led me to a dimly lit office and shut the door behind us. He handed me a manila folder. Inside were not medical results, but photographs of me. Not selfies, not images from social media. These were pictures taken from inside my house. Me sleeping, eating dinner, brushing my hair, even sitting in the shower with my head down. I felt like the ground dropped beneath me. "What is this?" I whispered, voice trembling. Dr. Lewis sat down calmly and said, "It's important to monitor patients closely. Your condition requires observation." My hands were shaking so hard the pictures almost slipped out. He leaned forward, his face inches from mine, and said, "I know things about you that even you don't. I know what's coming." My entire body went numb. I demanded an explanation, but he only smiled slowly and said, "You're very special. I've been following your progress for a long time." I ran out of the office without even grabbing my coat, nearly tripping on the hallway floor. The clinic lights flickered as I passed, and for a moment, I thought I heard footsteps behind me. When I burst through the doors into the cold air, the parking lot was completely empty. No staff cars, no patient cars, not even Dr. Lewis's. It was like the entire place had vanished behind me. I called the police, but when they investigated, they said the clinic had been closed for months due to staff shortages, and no one named Dr. Lewis had ever been registered there. After that day, strange things started happening at home. My bedroom window would be unlocked in the morning. Lights would flicker on and off. I'd hear someone walking through my hallway at night, even though I lived alone. Once, I found a picture taped to my bathroom mirror. A picture of me sleeping taken the night before, with a note written in tidy handwriting. "Still observing. We are not done." I moved a month later, but sometimes when I'm alone, I swear I hear Dr. Lewis's soft voice behind me saying, "I know what's coming for you.